Welcome back, and I hope you're enjoying the course. Now let's get into some actual live role play. Now you've seen how to do a listing in 30 days. We've talked about valuating a company, and now is really time to get into this discovery call. You've seen the scripts, but there's no better way to show you than an actual live role play. So let's go in here, let's meet this business owner, and let's see how this thing really works. All right, everybody, we're about to meet Steve. He's a small business owner of a plumbing company here locally. Now, he called us and he wants to talk about the next steps. So let's see if it's a good fit for us to move forward and get this business sold. Hey, Steve. Hey, Corey. Nice to meet you. Thanks for business. Come on back. Yeah, I appreciate it. Let's go. This is a beautiful office. You can start. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for inviting me back. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to learn more about your business and love to meet you. So if you don't mind, just tell me really kind of a little bit about yourself. I know we talked on the phone, but just kind of about your establishment here.
Okay. Yeah. I've owned this plumbing business for about 15 years.
Wow.
Been in the business for over 25. I have like 6 employees and just kind of looking for retirement.
Nice. 15 years. Congratulations. There's not very many businesses that last 15 years, let alone 3, right? So what made you decide on plumbing? Like, how did you even get into this business?
Kind of just fell into it, I think, when I was younger, just looking for a job, and plumbing was kind of just fell into it. So, and then just took it from there and just kept going.
Well, I'm glad you called, because the service industry and businesses is probably the hottest market right now in businesses. So I'd be curious, why do you want to sell? Like, you said you want to just hang it up, huh?
Yeah, been doing this for a while. I think it's, me, the wifey, kids are out of the house, want to just sell the business and retire.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about kind of today. Really, the goal is just to kind of answer any questions that you have, go through what it is to sell a business, kind of what the market's seeing today, talk about even businesses like yours that have just recently sold. So it's just to make you really comfortable and really get into what it means to sell your business. So okay, we'll pause here, guys, for a real quick on the role play. So why, again, the goal? Well, if you recall back in the previous trainings, we have set the GROW method, right? And the GROW method starts with establishing the goal of the meeting. Now, the goal is to really take down any type of barriers as far as being nervous, the emotions. We talked about this. This is a lot. They've been doing this for 15 years, and this is a plumbing company that's really been built by his own hands. So for us, it's really just, let's establish the goal, and that goal is to really kind of take you through the process and what it really means to sell this business. Okay, so again, relations and being reliable to these guys from the very beginning. So let's get back into the role play. So today, I want to first address, I know we talked a couple different times, but what are your big goals for on your side of things? Like, what are you looking to do? I know you said sell, but what's that timetable look like and all that good stuff?
I haven't thought about how fast I want to sell.
Okay.
But I think that probably 6 months, 12 months, maybe. I mean, if the right price, I'll sell tomorrow, but there's not really anything keeping me, not anything, making me, not even keeping me, but I can go, it's not really a timetable, so.
Yeah. With the market, it's very, very, there's a ton of buyers. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So it's almost like sometimes I really like to caution that, if you were to sell this thing pretty fast, what's next? What's Travis and
if you get the right price, I'll sell tomorrow,
What my question to you though is, what's after you sell?
Probably just relax for a little bit and then figure it out. I don't know, whatever the wife wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. And this, again, going back out of the role play, is, we're trying to dive in, starting to the R, which is the reality. We want to see really where he stands, what's really going to happen afterwards, because everybody wants to sell their business until their business is sold. And again, there's a personal responsibility with this, because once they do sell their business, like, they need to figure out what they really want to do, because, this has been their whole life. And so it's important, very important, to bring that up in this conversation to start talking reality. So again, I'm going to really go into the R stage now and go more into depth with that, but really it's all about the reality of the situation. All right. So back into the role play now. So you're looking to get into really hanging out with the kids and the family, and 6 to 12 months, you're going to sell at the right price, right? So tell me a little bit more about the situation of the business. What are some of the great things? If you were to also maybe even start over, what would you do differently? I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, it's great questions, Corey. So like I said, we have 6 employees. I mean, they're basically doing all the work. We're just getting leads from referrals and websites, and basically they're taking all. I'm just basically managing the business.
Okay.
And so it's pretty. We're pretty busy.
Okay.
So it's pretty steady on as far as just workflow. It's very steady on that front. But I'm honestly just taking care of the books and making sure if something happens, I'm there. I have to do jobs if someone doesn't show up and things like that. But most of the time, I'm just in the office.
Awesome. And tell me, now you have trucks and you have everything ready to go out there. How's all the equipment looking? Do you have any extra vehicles, things like that?
We have 8 vehicles. So we got 2 kind of like sitting in the back. They're older, but we have 2 other extra vehicles just in case. And then, so 6 people, and they all take them home.
Perfect. Now, the employees have been with you a while. They've been true and loyal to you for a long time. Or are they kind of newer ones and new generations coming in?
It's kind of a mix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix, I would say. But I would say majority of them, I think probably 3 of them have been with me more than 5 years. And the other 2 have been 2 years. And then probably one that I think has been, he's probably right over a year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So would you say you're in the business maybe 20% of the time, 50% of the time, or where are you at? Are you always in the business, right? You never leave.
Like I said, mostly handling the books and stuff. So I'm always in the kind of business and that, but not so much like doing the actual like servicing of the clients.
Gotcha. Now, some of these employees, I'm sure you have not discussed this with the employees yet. And just so you know, too, it's always private, our conversations until you're ready to tell so. But just for the new buyer that's coming on, what are they going to be getting? And it's important that they have tenure. So it's awesome to hear. But are they going to have any issues at all with new transition, new owners, things like that coming in?
No, I don't think it should be an issue. Most of the guys, they're pretty busy. They're loyal to the company, and I think they're all really great workers. So it makes my life a little bit easier. So I don't think you should have any issues for a little bit of transition.
Okay. Now, if you could go back in time, what would you do differently about this business, or what would you keep the same?
That's a great question. Also, I think probably diving in a little bit more on marketing, or get to the point of where I'm not just servicing clients all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I stepped into this role probably like 2 years ago, just doing the books and things like that. And then cause I had a back issue. And so I was doing a lot of like servicing of clients, and then kind of moved into this, and it's a lot easier. I don't have to be running around and things like that. I can kind of work from home if I need to also.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's exciting to see what built you, and what got you where here today. Right. And then what you really would like to do tomorrow to get you to the next step. Right. So for the last 3-4 years, what have you really been doing to invest in the business? Or if you've been, hey, I've been happy with what it is, but I'd be curious to see, a new owner that would come in, what would you be like, hey, you got to really get this going because this could take you to the next level? What would it be?
I would say probably a little bit more presence on, the website, and we don't really do that. We've kind of I think it would probably be the one thing that we don't really focus on. A lot of referral, past clients, and things like that. So probably more marketing. We've kind of just grown, and it's been just enough. So we haven't tried to grow. But if you wanted to grow, probably hire a couple more plumbers if you can find them.
Oh, that's exciting. One of the cool things about, being able to sell businesses is you get to see, all the new people that want to come in and start the next chapter of their life. And they are very excited when they hear that technology is an opportunity, because the new generations that are coming, they've grown up on the computers, right? They've grown up on marketing and SEO and things like that. So it's very exciting to see a foundation of a successful 15-year business that gets to add technology on top of that. That makes it very exciting to sell. So we're going to pause out of this real quick and go back to a couple different things here on the grow model. So the reality, again, is to really discuss and kind of see how the temperature feels with the situation. Are we able to kind of break down the opportunities that they have, what's built them success over the years? What are the employees? What are the trucks? Just essentially, what is the reality of the situation, right? Before we start diving into the O, which is the options, essentially, right? And the options are really getting the idea and the feel of essentially the overall business process on selling. Okay. Now, there's one part that I missed on the reality on purpose, just for the sake of the role play, is you really want to, this is where you take the tour. This is where you go, would you mind showing me around and go through the business itself? So that way you can get an idea, let them show you all the great things they have. Be very close attention to the pictures on the wall and the history and the awards and the celebrations. These are all good things to be able to highlight as you go through the tour. And they're also great things to highlight when you're selling this business, right? You're getting ideas, you're generating marketing ideas to essentially promote this business. So let's dive back in and talk about the options and what's next. So we just finished up going through your store. It's fantastic. This is a great location, not just for the sense of having the operations, but also from a transparency standpoint to the public, right? So I really like to dive into kind of what it means to sell your business. Now, have you ever sold a business before?
No.
No? Okay. One successful business, I like it, right? Get the sale at the end of their career and sail off to the sunset. Perfect. So what it goes through, it's really actually a very easy process. And it's on your terms, essentially. And what I mean by that is being the seller, we get to really hold the deck, the card deck, if you will. Now, there's a process. It could take, 3, 6, 9, 12 months to sell a business. But I can tell you that essentially the more information that we have about your business, and these meetings are extremely helpful to be able to put your business on the marketplace for it to find the right buyer. Okay. So I'd like to first talk to you, if it's okay with you, about the process in general of what it means to sell your business. And then I'll answer any questions you have and we could talk through this. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Perfect. So the very first thing is, at our firm here, essentially, we don't really like to make it and hold your hands tied. We really want to be a partnership. Okay. We don't want to just sign the contract, you're listing with us, and not really give you the details of what it really means to sell business. But first and foremost, our most important thing is we're going to be a partner to you throughout the entire process. So my firm is set up essentially to where we not only are going to do the sale of the business, but we're going to make sure we find the right buyers. We're going to make sure we have the confidentiality. We're going to make sure we have the overall essentially situation set up to where we set this new buyer up for success. You've done a great job with your customers over all these years to give them a great service solution. The last thing we want is to sell to somebody that's not going to continue that legacy that you built. Okay. Now, the next step is once we get this thing listed, I take all of the calls for you. And we qualify the buyers, and we only really want to bring to you people that are really excited and fit what you want to buy this business. Otherwise, we don't waste any of our time with the potential buyers that don't really have any industry experience or want to really get into the plumbing business, right? Now, after that, this is the fun part. We really get to figure out what buyers we have, the offers that we're going to entertain. And overall, it's going to be a very smooth process because, again, we have a team that's set up behind the scenes that takes care of it all. Okay. So again, an all-in-house solution type of thing. I could tell you the average business sells within 90 days if it's got the paperwork that's needed to prove it. All right. So what questions do you have so far on that?
What kind of paperwork are you going to need for to kind of, I guess either value it or like to get it sold? Like, what do you need? Yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to pause here for a second and we're going to go right back in the role play. Very sensitive topic, right? Because sometimes they could be asking this question to really be the fact that, hey, I don't have any paperwork, or I haven't done my taxes this year. Oh my gosh, they're going to report me to the IRS, right? So it's be very sensitive with this topic and this question and how you respond to it. And we'll go back in the role play and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So great question. One of those things is we really can sell the business with what paperwork you have. But again, the more you have, the better. It just makes the business a little bit easier to fund from a financing standpoint. So some of the main things people will automatically go to is their tax returns. Some will go to bank statements, essentially, so you could go that route. Some will even look at sales tax records to show essentially what they're paying their employees, and they can calculate it backwards that way. But again, someone could come in with an all cash offer and paperwork, they've met you and they can prove your revenue some way. That's all they need. Some may want SBA financing, which requires a lot of paperwork and the last 3 years of taxes and things like that. But I tell you what, no stress on that right now. We'll work that out. We really have the first 30 days to really break that down and get what we can and build your portfolio so that we can sell your business. So at this point, I wouldn't stress about it. I've seen it all and I've seen hardly anything when it comes to a background of business. Okay. Sound good? Great question. What other questions do you have? What's your fee?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the standard industry fee is 15% of the sale price. So depending on what we go to the market at, it's really competitive. But the thing that I want to bring to your attention is again, going back to what I said, is we're a full portfolio solution. We're going to do the marketing for you. We're going to do the overall handling the buyers and the qualifications. We have in-house partners for financing, our in-house legal team. So all of that at 15% is because essentially we are able to give everything to you. Now, we don't charge, this is very rare, we don't charge anything up front. Most of the time for business brokerages and firms, they charge you a upfront $5,000 fee because they have to pay for marketing, they have to pay for listing, active listing on the marketplaces. We don't want to do that. We really want to take the money and earn that 15%. And when we do earn it, we'll get paid out at the end just like you get paid out. So again, going back to our initial comment, we're partners. Essentially, I don't want to do anything and charge anything unless I know that this business is going to sell, type of thing, right? So that's essentially 15% is the standard. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we've gone through essentially really the process of what it is to sell. You're going to have a lot more questions, I promise you. But I think the next step is going through really what the next steps are and what it means to sell your business. So I'm going to pause here for a second, go back into the role play. Again, now we're on to the W portion of the grow. This is really, we established the next meeting, we established what's next. We really want to turn it into a mentor session to help walk them through. If we aren't confident in this part, we're going to lose the sale and the listing, I assure you. So the W is probably, in my opinion, the most important because it locks down the next steps. So let's get into this role play and see what that looks like. So it's a lot to come in at you at one time, right? What it means to sell your business. I can't thank you enough for showing me your overall behind the scenes. It means a lot and I appreciate it. Now it's all about going back into your court. I would highly suggest to you with as many transactions that we've done, communicate, talk to people, go home and talk to your spouse, go home and talk to your kids, really answer those questions of what you're going to do next after this business sells. Because it's not if, it's when. And it's a hard reality as business owners transition to the next chapter of their life. Some want to go into business again. Some will say, you know what, I just want to sit out at the pool and enjoy life in different manner, right? So my first suggestion to you is, look, there's no commitments today. We don't want to do anything besides just think on it. I personally pray on it and whatever we can do to really make sure the next step is right for you. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is this, here's my contact information. I would like to set a meeting up in the next week, if that's okay with you, where we come back, same place, answer any questions, regardless of whether you decide to sell or not. I think it's important that we really have an appointment set. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay. Same time, next place, next Tuesday is okay with you?
Sounds great. Yeah.
Perfect. So any other questions you have essentially before that you may have questions on at home or something like that I can answer now at all for you?
I think right now, no, I think that's pretty good. I mean, you kind of explained everything. What is there any other, what should I tell my employees yet? Is that something that I should do that if we decide to move forward, should I tell them? What about, I guess, maybe confidentiality of kind of how does that work? I don't want the business to suffer, people know, or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would advise you to do nothing at this point besides just think on it and talk to your family and friends. Really digest it. You know what I mean? Again, it's a lot. You earned the right to be able to do this on your terms. This is your pride and joy, your business, a lot of tears and joy from this business, not just with you, but I'm sure your family and friends that support you through it. So for me, I think at this point, we do nothing. But you asked a great question about confidentiality. We take that very seriously here at our firm. So any buyer that comes in is going to 100% have a background check. They need to have an NDA done. They need to have qualified fundings proved to us before they even know the name of your business. Okay. They're going to have a general idea that it's a plumbing company. It's been in business for this long, but they have no idea where and who. But if they're interested in this industry, they got to prove a couple steps before they even talk to us. All right. Okay. Now, with that said, it's the same thing. We need to remind ourselves. It's just one step in front of the other at this point. Let's just get to the points where if you want to sell it, let's talk about that. Okay. After that, we'll go to the next step, which is pretty easy. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Great. Well, congratulations again on your success. I really appreciate it. The opportunity to sell with you and partner. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So that concludes the actual role play. Now, it's a lot of me talking, and that's obviously for the example to show you different ways and different tactics to really get the personal relationship going with them. But the idea is to have 80-20, the opposite. He does 80% of the talking. We do 20% of the talking. We should be listening more. Now, all we're doing is guiding them through the grow process. It's going to keep you very easy aligned to what we need to have. And you can see, I'm not going in for a hard close. This is not about sales. That's not how business works. Business is slow and its focus, essentially measure twice, cut once type of mentality. So you will get people though that are like, you know what? I really like what you have and let's sign this paper right now. Obviously don't fight it, but the grow method will help you go through this process. Remember the key steps to getting through this discovery call. So we'll see you on the next course. Talk to you soon.